Here's how I started my small business in my last year of university. Let's get into it. Hi, I'm Mildred Mwinkom. I'm a digital artist and illustrator, as well as a small business owner based in Ghana. I create content about creativity, business, and lifestyle. So if you're interested, please subscribe. I promise we'll have a fun time together. So I'm not a millionaire or a business expert, but I just want to share my experience starting my business, and I'm hoping that it would encourage you, if you have an idea to start one, to just go on and just do it. I always wanted to start a business since year one of getting into university. I wanted a way to have some extra money for myself on the side. And I remember in the beginning I had a couple of ideas. Initially I wanted to start a jewelry business, but then I ended up stopping with the idea because I realized that I wasn't really passionate about it. I just wanted to start it because I wanted money. And that leads me to tip number one: start a business that brings value and one that you are passionate about. In the beginning of starting a business, it's usually quite tough. You wouldn't really be seeing money flowing in like that, so it's really good that it's something you're passionate about. It's easier for you to stick longer to it when you actually have desire for it. So because of that, I held on to my first business idea and other ones before. They weren't things that I really cared about. So I'm going to go on a bit of a tangent over here. During the COVID year, 2020, I actually relaxed my hair. Towards the end of the year, I realized I actually hated it and I missed my natural hair. I wanted to have it back. So I shaved all my hair, bald, not completely bald, but it was quite low, TWA. And I started to grow my hair out. As I was learning to love and enjoy my hair, one of the things that really helped me to enjoy my process of growing and caring for my hair was wearing hair accessories. So literally one day I just woke up and the idea came to me and I was like, thank you God. So I finally got the idea to create a hair accessories business that not only accessorized your hair but also maintained and cared for your natural hair. So something that would protect your hair from breakage, because at this point, like, I was testing out so many hair accessories I'd get around, and I noticed that some of them were really pretty, but they tend to rip out my hair, they tend to cause it to dry out. So I wanted to start a business that combated those things. So the first products that came in mind for me were scrunchies, satin scrunchies to be specific. So at this point, when I got my business idea, I started to plan. Tip number two: create a business plan and do your research. I started to create a business plan about my mission, my vision, who my target audience was, what exactly was going to make me different from other businesses that were doing something similar. And this is a very important aspect. No matter what business you're trying to create, there's probably something similar or someone else doing the same thing. So you need to think about what exactly is going to make you different so that your target audience would look at you and be like, I want to purchase from you, I want to buy your product. During that time, I also thought about my brand name, and another important aspect, I thought about where I was going to market my product, which sends me into tip number three, which is make your business visible to your target audience. With my business specifically, my target audience were people that were young. Yes, so young, probably ages 18 to 30 something, and people who loved their hair, whether natural or relaxed. They loved their hair, they liked to look beautiful, but they also didn't want to deal with the stress of having their hair being ripped out by some hair accessory. So that was my target audience, and because my target audience was mainly young people, I decided that I would market online. The two main platforms I decided to market on were TikTok and Instagram. So for instance, if you had, let's say, a target audience of people from 50 to 40, and you decide to post on TikTok. People within that age range, the probability that they will be online on TikTok is quite low. So you need to do research on who your target audience is and where you're going to find them, so that you have a high chance of being discovered and getting sales in the long run. Please don't be too focused on likes and comments. In the beginning, for me, it was usually just my friends or my family that were liking my videos. Just have patience and be consistent. Focus on how you're going to improve your videos. Do research on what would get the attention of your target audience and improve on those things. It's been a year and I don't have a crazy amount of followers, but right now on TikTok, for instance, I have over 1,000 followers, and every time I post, I always get a consistent amount of people buying my product, DMing me, asking me about it. So you don't even need a 10K to start making good sales. And as time goes on, it will definitely be increased. I decided to eventually learn to make the scrunchies myself. So I got a sewing machine, I got all the materials I needed. I needed to watch some tutorials. Eventually, when I figured it out, I started to make prototypes. I made 2 kinds. I made maxi scrunchies, which were much larger, and also tiny ones, which were mini scrunchies. I also planned about my packaging and my thank you cards, just things to make my business more attractive. So during this period, whilst I was sewing my scrunchies, I was also designing my thank you cards, outsourcing it to somebody to print it for me. I really wanted my scrunchies to have a really nice fluffy look. I needed to get the perfect sateen fabric to make sure that it doesn't break your hair. I wanted it to glide, not cause any damage on your hair. I needed to keep testing, trying to get the perfect measurements, seeing whether my elastic was strong enough. I had to work on all these things. I took advantage of every free time that I got to sew. I had particular days during my week where I wouldn't really have any lectures, so I would take advantage of that time to sew and plan everything I needed for my business. It got so hectic sometimes. My roommates, who I love so much, would assist me with putting elastic inside so that I could just rest for a bit. So that brings me to tip number 4. Have a good support system. I remember during the time I got my idea, I had 2 people that I was talking to, 2 people who were very dear to me. I spoke to them about my ideas, and they were such a good support system. Aside that too, when I did start my business, when I did launch, I had a lot of female friends, so I told them all about my business when I finally was about to launch, and they were so supportive. During my first month, they brought me so many sales. They purchased my products for themselves, for their family members. I had male friends who bought the products for their sisters, girlfriends. It was so sweet of them. So yeah, don't be scared to share and tell people about your business. I mean, the worst that could happen is, I guess, they wouldn't share it or they wouldn't buy, but that's okay, because maybe they are just not your target audience, and that shouldn't discourage you from sharing, because you don't know, maybe they wouldn't be your target audience, but they would tell somebody else, or through word of mouth somebody else would find out, and that's how you get your first few sales. So don't just start your business and keep it to yourself. Please tell people about it. And that reminds me, tip number 5, just start. You don't need to be perfect in the beginning. So one thing that helped me was posting some few teasers on my Instagram page. I remember I posted some teasers to let people know that, oh, I'm starting something new. It's a hair accessories business, but I would actually be launching on this particular date. So that held me accountable. I set a date. Now it was online. I told friends that, hey, follow my page, so they knew about the launch date, and that prevented me from wanting to procrastinate longer because of fear that, oh, things may not work out the way I want to. That's how it works. You learn along the way. You wouldn't figure everything out in the beginning. You're always learning. So please don't put so much pressure on yourself to have everything figured out in the beginning. You will figure it out along the way. Just start and put yourself out there and everything will work out eventually. Just have faith and patience. That's why I mentioned to be passionate. If you are passionate about it, you will stick it through the times where you have no sales. There will be months where nobody would probably order, but that's when you should actually continue to post. At the end of the day, it's better to start and fail than to never start and wonder what would have been. And worst case scenario, if you do start your business and it does fail, just know that it's not going to be a waste. You're definitely going to still learn a lot of skills and you can implement it into another business or another venture. Most of the successful people in this world, they started things in their first try, it didn't work out. Second, it didn't work out. It takes them up to the third time and even sometimes more before they are able to blow up and get the hugest success ever. So I hope my story was encouraging. I hope it gives you the push you finally need to start planning and finally launch your business. I still don't have everything figured out. I'm still learning so much along the way. If you think you have any more tips that I probably didn't mention in this video because it's quite short, share it in the comment section. If you enjoyed this video, please like and do subscribe. Yeah, so that's it. I'll see you next week. Bye.